Warning.
रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं लेना है ना, सेट कर लिए
लेना है तुम लोगों को GoPro का रिकॉर्डिंग?
देखोगे तो नहीं ना।
अच्छा इन लोगों को मन है तो ले लो।
So what's the plan today?
Well, I'm just going to give you an historical overview of the island, the country, and take you to the historical forts, and just basically, it's supposed to be a fun tour,
All important landmarks, you mean?
Yeah, all the historical landmarks of the island.
And how long will it take? 3 hours, 4 hours?
About 2.5 to 3 hours. Shouldn't be more than that. I mean, the tour itself. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, and so it's just really nice to be in your company once more. And I know that you all are visiting from the UK, United Kingdom. Can I ask where about in the UK?
We live in Sheffield.
Sheffield.
Sheffield in South Yorkshire.
Oh, in South Yorkshire. Okay.
It's about 50 miles away from Manchester.
Oh, okay. See what happens sometimes when I do a video, I just I go on Google's Earth and I zoom into where you come from to where you are now. You understand? And it's just that's why I like to get exactly where you're from. And so I can just zoom right into where you're from, where you came from, and now you're here in Nassau, Bahamas. Okay? But yeah, today I intend to explain the overall, give you an historical overview of the country, a historical overview of the island, who we are, where we came from, our way of life, our culture, and whatnot. Today we are currently driving on Paradise Island, formerly known as Hog Island. And Paradise Island today is best known for the spiraling Atlantis Resort. The Atlantis Resort is the brainchild of Mr. Saul Kirshner, who was a Sun City, South Africa businessman. Mr. Kirshner came here.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Kirshner. His name is Saul Kirshner. He was from Sun City, South Africa. And he came here to the Bahamas with this Atlantis vision.
But if his name is Krishna, he must be of Indian origin.
Well,
that's an Indian surname.
Kirshner?
Yeah.
It is? Well,
yeah.
Could be, like I say, but ethnically he looks more like a Caucasian.
Okay.
But he might have some Indian roots here or there. Who knows?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But he came here with this Atlantis vision. Atlantis is a 5-phase project, but they were only able to successfully complete 4 of those 5 stages. The first stage included this hotel here to my left, which is the Royal Towers. This section of the resort cost the company in excess of $400 million to be constructed. The Royal Towers was the first construction or the first hotel to be constructed upon the arrival of the company. The Coral Towers and the Beach Towers, they were here prior to the arrival of the Atlantis.
Right.
Okay? They used to be part of the former Resorts International hotel chains on the island at that time. And Mr. Kirshner, he then, after the construction and the completion of the Royal Towers, he closed the Beach Towers and the Coral Towers and renovated those 2 sections. And after that was done, you were able to walk from the Beach Towers into the Coral Towers and into the Royal Towers, creating the Atlantis Resort. Okay? And shortly thereafter, he changed the name from Resorts International to the Atlantis Resort to complement all the work and to match the theme at the time. He also strategically marketed the Atlantis Resort to be a family-oriented resort where people were able to bring down their families for fun and relaxation. People were able to bring, he marketed the company to be a family-oriented establishment where they have one of the largest water theme parks. They have an aquarium with over 100 different species of fish and whatnot. And it all went well for the overall tourism expansion of the tourism product here on Paradise Island. The Atlantis is it's a very small island. It's only 685 acres. Okay, Atlantis owns about I'd say, well, Paradise Island that is. Paradise Island is only 685 acres. But Atlantis owns about 80% of the hotels operating here on Paradise Island. Okay? All right. Okay. Atlantis is the largest single employer independent of the government. They have a staff complement of about 6,000 Bahamians. Okay? The government have a civil servant staff at about, I'd say about 30,000. And next to the government is the Atlantis Resort. Okay? All right, so there's the largest single employer independent of the government of the Bahamas.
So on Paradise Island, which are the hotels that are not owned by Atlantis?
Well, we just passed one, and that was the smaller one, which was known as the Club Landor Resort,
Okay.
and that is not owned by the Atlantis company. The Atlantis have 50% ownership in the Comfort Suites.
Okay.
So it's 50% owned by the Atlantis Group and 50% owned by a company, a private entity.
I see.
And for that reason, everybody who gets to stay at the Comfort Suites will have access to use all the amenities of the Atlantis Resort. Okay? All right. And so, Comfort Suites just recently renovated and expanded their hotels.
So is Atlantis trying to take over the hotels that are not owned by them currently?
Well, one time when they first came here, and the funniest thing now, which is so interesting, is the fact that Club Landor Atlantis was behind Club Landor to sell when they first came here and opened.
Yeah.
And created the Atlantis brand. And they would not sell. They wouldn't budge. But today, they're looking for a buyer now today.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I guess, they wanted to stay the course because the Atlantis, they wanted to be on the island with the Atlantis Resort and whatnot. That being one of the major tourist attraction at that time, which it still is a major tourist attraction. But at that time, it was just really taking shape and becoming popular. So they wanted to keep their, the hotel open there at Club Landor. But now today they are looking for a buyer. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody knows it's up for sale now. All right.
It's not working.
But no, that one isn't for you. See the one in the ceiling there? That's yours right there.
Oh, I see.
You put the first clip into that end over there,
I see, okay. That's
and then you bring it around you.
yeah. Thank you.
Then you bring it around you. Okay, is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Now, this island dates back to the Second World War, actually. This was a part of an estate of a Swedish billionaire. His name is Mr. Alex Wennergren. And he came here to the Bahamas shortly prior to the Second World War and purchased the island from the government, where he built his luxurious home. And he lived here on the island for quite a number of years. But it wasn't until Mr. Huntington Hartford from A&P Grocery Stores in America and came here and purchased the island from Mr. Alex Wennergren. Created a company called Resorts International that built and managed all of the hotels here on the island. This would have been one of the first hotels that they would have built at that time. And at the time it was known as the Ocean Club Hotel. But when the Atlantis came and took it over, they changed the name to the one and only Ocean Club. The cheapest room in the Ocean Club Hotel sells for like $1,200 per night. We also, Mr. Huntington Hartford was also instrumental in importing in this 14th century French St. Augustine's monastery here. This was imported from France to New York. and then from New York to the Bahamas. It was imported into the Bahamas in 1960s. It's called the French Cloisters. It is a very popular, wedding venue where a lot of people going up there, wedding vows exchange. Okay? All right? And so we have quite a number of celebrities living here on Paradise Island as well. If you were to go straight ahead, you would go into a gated community called the Ocean Clubs Estates, where we have quite a number of American celebrities and celebrities from all over the world owning homes in this area. Okay? The Bahamas is a very attractive place for people who come here to buy homes, expats and whatnot, and second home buyers, because of our no capital gains tax and a lot of tax incentive that the government put in place to attract these people to come here to purchase homes. Okay? We have people like Oprah Winfrey. She has a house in Ocean Clubs Estate. Elvis Presley, his daughter, has a house in the Ocean Clubs Estate. And then you have quite a number of celebrities who also have homes in different islands of the Bahamas. Nicolas Cage owns his own island in the Bahamas. He has his own personal island here. I don't know if you ever heard about Mr. Tom Brady from the Patriots. He was, I think he's the quarterback or the coach of the Patriots team.
Yeah.
He has a house on Abaco. You ever heard about, probably be a dumb question, but you ever heard about Tiger Woods?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a dumb question, right? Yeah, he owns his own development here on the island in Southwest New Providence. He has his own development. Well, actually, he is shareholders to a big major development, which is a gated community, similar to the Ocean Club area, where they have a lot of people who purchase condos and whatnot. And it is the investments is him, involves him and quite a number of other investors. Okay, but it's called Albany Resort, which is a very popular area here, residential area, and the homes in that area are up into the millions of dollars. Okay, and then you have a lot of people who actually trace their lineage here to the Bahamas, like actors and celebrities all over the world. I don't know if you ever heard about Randy Kravitz from the United States. He is a country singer, and he just recently searches lineage here to the Bahamas. But his mummy, I don't know if you ever used to watch the CBS sitcom called The Jeffersons. You ever watch The Jeffersons television?
No.
Or you never used to watch American television?
No, we do, but not the Jeffersons.
Oh, The Jeffersons was like a sitcom in the 70s and in the 80s. It was very popular. And you know, the actor in that film, Helen, who acted as Helen, she was a Bahamian. She was born here in the Bahamas. And also you have Sir Sidney Poitier. I don't know if you ever heard about him. Sir Sidney Poitier is also a Bahamian. Well, his parents was a Bahamian, and he was born into the United States in South Florida. But Sir Sidney Poitier was the first African American to win an Oscars in the United States for his movie. To Sell with Love. To Sell with Love was his movie that he won an Oscars for. And you never heard about Sir Sidney Poitier? Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
Are these privately owned houses?
Yes, all of these are privately owned houses and condos and whatnot. Now, these trees here to my left, we call these sea grape trees. Okay, you mostly find them in tropical climates near the beach areas. Okay. This area here to my right, this is called the Versailles Gardens area. This is a very beautiful area. People come and go and take pictures and whatnot. It sits on the side of the Ocean Clubs resort here to my right. It's called the Versailles Gardens area. Okay. All right. In the Bahamas, we have three major pillars that the Bahamian economy stands upon. And the first one is tourism. The second one is banking and financial services. The third one is agriculture and fishing and light manufacturing. Tourism has been described as the lifeblood to the Bahamian economy. It generates more than 60% of the gross domestic product of the country. Tourism also provides more than, I'd say, 100,000 jobs to the local Bahamian people. Okay? The number two industry is banking and financial services. Okay? And banking and financial services accounts for some 15.7% of the gross domestic product of the country. We were hard hit by the global financial situation and the blacklisting of these small offshore territories like the Bahamas, like Switzerland, by the G7 countries of the world, where we had to bring our tax structure or our banking system in line with the rest of the global world, where our citizens who come here and hide their monies from the United States government and big, rich, powerful governments around the world, the government now have access to these people's accounts.
You know, there are 500 Indians listed in Bahamas companies.
You serious?
500 plus.
Okay.
Amitabh Bachchan is one.
You mean in
And
terms? You mean in terms of hiding their?
Yes, hiding their wealth
Okay.
in offshore companies.
In offshore companies to evade taxes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, David Cameron's dad, he did.
Well, I was reading something about that the other day, and I believe that was one of the part of the reason why he stepped down as prime minister.
No.
he
You don't think
stepped
so?
No, not at all.
Well,
That's
it
not
just
the
scratched the head of my surface when I saw that big ad in the papers with his father having offshore accounts in the Bahamas. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe
But
that.
there's nothing wrong with having an offshore account, is
It
there?
was all legally done. So.
In his case, it was legally done.
It was legally done, yes.
Yeah.
But they create offshore accounts to evade taxes.
Yeah,
That's what they do. You know what I'm
They
saying?
do, but the thing is, in England, where you're already paying 50% tax,
Oh,
you know,
Ethically, it may not be right, but
but
legally
actually,
it was right.
I mean, we pay about 50% tax.
Oh.
You pay 34%.
We pay 40% tax, Charlotte.
Plus-
It's not really
Plus-
tax, you pay 34 on average.
No, we pay 40% tax.
Plus extra.
Plus
Oh.
extra.
Okay.
So, you know, when you're already paying so much tax,
I didn't know.
in India, actually, taxation is 20%.
20%.
It's less.
Oh, okay.
I don't know exactly.
But in England, public services are very good. That's why the taxation is so high. But the thing is, the people who are hit by the taxation are the people who have the money, obviously.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And if you're in the very high income bracket, I mean, Cameron's father, he would have been paying 50% tax.
Oh, okay. I understand. Well, anyway, I just wanted to point out that this bridge would have been the first bridge to be built here on Paradise Island. This was
Oh.
built in January of 1967. The bridge to my right, that was started and completed in 1997. Okay?
Well, that's the year my son was born.
Oh, yes. And prior to the construction of boat bridge to access Paradise Island, you'd have had to take a ferry boat.
Oh,
Boy, you'd have had to been a good swimmer.
yeah.
Okay? All right. And so, yes, the Atlantis is the largest single employer independent of the government of the Bahamas at this time. Okay? All right.
There is no income tax here.
We
There's
don't
no
have
income tax
we don't
at
have
all?
we don't have income tax.
Oh,
There's
right.
no income tax and there's no capital gains tax.
I think we'll
Okay.
have to move to the Bahamas.
Yeah, our taxation system, though oftentimes has been criticized as being an unfair tax, is in the way of import duties. Everything that is imported into the country, the government collects what you call an import duties. Customs revenue collection is the major form of government revenue collection for the country. Okay, so if I were to go away and buy a vehicle, I can pay as much as 85% on import duties. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the way how the government collects its revenue by way of import duties. Also, this government also implemented a new tax, which is called value added tax. And that was implemented on January 1st, 2015. We just took a right on to Shirley Street. And this street was named in honor of our 1740s governor from England. His name is William Shirley. Okay? He would have been serving as the governor of the Bahamas during the actual planning of the town area. So as being the governor of that time, this street was named after him. Okay? So it's called Shirley Street. We also have the Ebenezer Methodist Church, which is this beautiful edifice here to my left. This church was originally built and opened for public worship on the 1802. Okay? Now when this church was originally opened for public worship, it was a wooden structure. As a result of that, it was completely destroyed by a fire and rebuilt to a concrete structure in 1806. One of the only church on the island that still has its original external structure is this edifice here to my right. This is called the St. Matthew's Anglican Church. So just like how this church looked today, that is exactly how it looked when it was originally opened for public worship in 1802. This is the only church that still maintains its original external structure. It's called the St. Matthew's Anglican Church, opened for public worship in 1802. We also have Sacred Heart Roman Catholic Church, which is this beautiful edifice here to my left. Okay, this church was opened for public worship in 1839. One of the oldest Roman Catholic churches here on the island. In the Bahamas, we have just about every major religion that exists around the world. The dominant religion in this country is Christianity. Within the Christian faith, we have all the different denominations. The largest denomination is Baptist. Okay? We do not manufacture vehicles. All of our vehicles are imported from other countries. To my left, we have the auto dealer for Toyota vehicles. We also have Sears here to my left, and this is the Haitian embassy. See, the Bahamian government and the Haitian government keep diplomatic relations because of the simple fact that we are inundated by what goes on in Haiti in terms of illegal immigrants. Haiti accounts for some 90% of the illegal immigrant population coming into the country. Okay?
Where did they come from?
From Haiti.
Oh,
Haitian, yeah, Haiti.
oh, Haitian.
Yes.
I see. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so Haiti accounts for some 80% of the illegal immigrant population coming into the Bahamas. We also have Doctors Hospital here to my left, formerly known as Rason Hospital. Dr. Rason, one of our top medical professionals on the island, started this hospital in the year of 1955. Doctors Hospital wasn't always that size, but after many years of renovations and expansions, that is the current Doctors Hospital today. We also have the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce is an organization that was created by an Act of Parliament in 1955 for the overall enhancements of small businesses within the economy of the country. Okay? And then we also have the oldest healthcare institution here to my left. This is called the Princess Margaret Hospital, formerly known as the Bahamas General Hospital. This hospital opened up its doors as far back as 1806 for the delivery of public health to the general public. Princess Margaret Hospital wasn't always this size, but after many years of renovations and expansions, this is the current Princess Margaret Hospital today. Okay? By the way, quite a number of movies was partially filmed at the Atlantis Resort. I don't know if you ever watched After the Sunset. You probably never watched Casino Royale.
Oh yeah, we watched Casino Royale.
Okay. Both of those movies were partially shot there at the Atlantis Resort. I don't know if you ever watched in the 1965 one of the Beatles film. It's called Help.
No.
1965 Beatles film was partially shot at the Ocean Club Hotel.
Okay.
Okay. And quite a number of James Bond movies was. I don't know if you ever heard about Thunderball. I think that was 1988 or Never Say Never Again.
Yeah.
All of those were partially shot here in the Bahamas. And one of Flipper's movies. I don't know. You ever watched the Flipper? You know, I'm sure you ever heard about Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Gilligan's Islands shot one or two of their series here on the islands of the Bahamas as well. And Flipper was with the Dolphin. You never watched the movie?
Yeah.
Back in the day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just thought to also show you some of these cruise ships here.
Yes.
And you know, this is called the Prince George Dock area. This is home to quite a number of world cruise liners that call on port here every week, sometimes twice a week. The government of the Bahamas just recently dredged the harbor some 8 years ago, where we now accommodate some of Royal Caribbean's largest ships, like the Lure of the Seas and the Oasis of the Seas. This is called the Prince George Dock area. Okay?
We visited this area on the Oasis last year.
Oh, you were here last year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But our ship didn't stop here. The circuit we did, we stopped at Jamaica.
Jamaica, okay.
Yeah, it didn't stop at the Bahamas.
No. Well, this, if you had stopped here, this is where the ships bring in.
I see.
The cruise ships pull into the port here to my right.
I see.
And it's called Prince George Dock. Okay? And as a result of the dredging of the harbor, we now welcome some 7 million tourists per annum. Prior to the dredging of the harbor, we only used to welcome some 4 million tourists per annum. Okay? And again, tourism is the lifeblood to the Bahamian economy. The majority of our tourists who visit this country come from the United States. That is really due to the fact of our proximity to the United States. We are very close in proximity to the United States. At least about 80% of the tourists who travel to this country, be it by cruise ships or even by air arrival, come from the United States.
80%.
80%.
Yeah.
80%. The other 20% come from come from Europe, UK, Canada, and other surrounding countries. Okay? Alright? And so because of our proximity to the United States, the majority of our tourists who come here, they come from the United States. Okay? And more than 60% of the tourists who travel to this country annually, that same 7,000 I told you,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that 7 million, the majority of them come here by cruise ships. Okay? More than 60% of the tourists who visit this country annually come here by way of cruise ships. Okay? And the other remaining comes here by airplanes and boats and whatnot. In the Bahamas, we have 3 different branches of government. We have the executive branch consisting of the cabinet, the legislative branch consisting of our 2 houses of parliament here to my right, and we have the judiciary. The government of the Bahamas is also based on the Westminster system of England, headed by a prime minister, cabinet ministers, and members of parliament. The building to my far right is our parliament. The building in the middle is our senate. The senate is the upper house. The parliament is the lower house. And because of these 2 houses, we call it a bicameral parliament. Okay? We have 38 members of parliament who meet in that very same building over there to my far right every Wednesday to discuss laws and pass policies governing the country. In the middle of Parliament Square, there is a statue of Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria ascended to the throne of England in the year of 1837.
You're going to.
Well, that's right.
Thinking take a photo.
Yes, Queen Victoria ascended to the throne of England in the year of 1837. One of her very first acts as Queen was the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation abolishing slavery in the British Empire. It was called the Proclamation of Emancipation, signed by Queen Victoria on the 1st of August, 1838, thereby permitting all slaves freedom within the British Empire. Out of the kind generosities of the
So
free...
earlier than the US then?
Yes,
Ah.
early in the US. In fact, the British government had made the slave industry illegal
You
in,
read about
in
this?
1807, okay?
Yeah.
From as far as 1807, okay?
Wasn't
And
the election in 1807 for the MPs in England, and then the pro-slavery ones were unsuccessful?
Yeah.
That's what you just said.
oh, they were unsuccessful.